Lesson 5.2 is about mixed numbers. Our objective is to review the whole and then provide experience with mixed number and improper fractions. So we're going to look at some of our pattern blocks, and a hexagon is going to be worth 1. So we want to find out how we would write this as either a mixed number or a fraction. So we know a hexagon is worth 1 because it tells us that. Now we need to figure out what a triangle is worth. So if I take my triangles and I move them into my hexagon, I need to figure out how many triangles does it take to fill my hexagon. And then I'll be able to figure out what fraction each triangle is. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. So if I had one triangle, that would be 1 out of 6, or 1/6 of the hexagon. Okay, now let's take a look at our parallelogram. Move these in to see how many it takes to fill the hexagon. And I can see that it takes 3. So if I want to know what one of them is worth, it's 1 out of 3. It's 1/3 of the hexagon. And then my trapezoid is the last shape. And so if I move these in, it takes 2. I want to know what one of them is worth. So it's 1 out of 2, or half of the hexagon. Okay, now we're going to look at how to write some of these fractions, or use this information to do mixed numbers and fractions. So I need to find out the value of a hexagon and a triangle. Well, I remember that a triangle was 1/6 of the hexagon. Because if we were to split this up, there would be six triangles inside of that hexagon. So as a mixed number, I want to write my whole hexagon first, my whole number. So there's one whole hexagon, and then 1/6 of the hexagon, the triangle. Now if I write this as a fraction, I want to know how many parts there are. Well, my hexagon is split into 6. The triangle is worth 1/6. So how many triangles are there all together? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that make up the whole, and then one more. There are 7 6 in number 5. In problem number 6, I have one whole hexagon, and then I have some more triangles. So here I have one whole, and then 4 out of the 6 it would take to make the other hexagon. If I wrote that as a fraction, we're still talking about 6. But now I know that this is worth 6/6, and I have 4 more, so I have 10/6 altogether. We also use mixed numbers when we talk about measuring with a ruler. So let's do a couple of examples. On this page in your math journal, you will find landmarks, or find marks on the ruler and then label them with the letters. So they did A and B for you. Letter A was 5 inches, so they looked for each inch and came over to 5. For letter B, they did a 1/2 inch. So I know that this is 1 inch, and if I cut that inch in half, they labeled letter B right here at 1/2 inch. Okay, letter C is another example of a mixed number. I've got 3 whole inches and then a 1/2. So I count over my 1, 2, 3, and then halfway between 3 and 4. So I would label letter C right here. And then you'll go on to do some of these other problems. Make sure that you think about your 4ths and your 8ths and your 16ths on the ruler when you're measuring and finding some of these measurements.